What if the safest choice you're making right now is the one destroying your future? You think you're avoiding risk by playing it safe, but let me tell you the hard truth. Avoiding risk is the riskiest decision you'll ever make. Every day you stay in that comfortable job, relationship, or life situation because it feels secure, you're quietly gambling away your future success. I know because I've been there. I spent years convinced I was being smart by staying safe until I realized that safety was just an illusion and comfort was slowly destroying my dreams. Here's what most people don't understand. Risk isn't just necessary for success. Risk is the currency of success. The most successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders aren't avoiding risk, they're actively seeking it out. In case this is your first time here, I'm Parker. I built a 7-figure coffee brand from nothing, broke, unprepared, and learning as I went, all by embracing the right risks. Today, I'm going to share the 6 uncomfortable truths about risk no one will tell you. We'll uncover the hidden dangers of playing it safe, reveal the power of embracing risk, and show you exactly how to find and evaluate and safely take the kinds of risks that unlock your greatest opportunities. Because not understanding this, that's the biggest risk of all. 1. The illusion of safety. Why your secure choices are actually dangerous gambles. Most people think that choosing the safe option, staying in the same job, relationship, or business is the smartest move. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Stability is an illusion, and the safest option often carries the greatest hidden dangers. We're taught from childhood to seek safety. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, and stay there until retirement. On paper, this looks smart. In reality, it's incredibly dangerous. So, let me tell you what happened to me. I spent years at a stable job, convinced that I was secure. Good salary, good benefits, everything. But one day, my company merged with a larger competitor, and the world was rocked by a pandemic, all in the same week. Overnight, half the staff, including me, lost their job. Suddenly, the safe choice was the most dangerous choice I had ever made. Why was this risky? Because I didn't build any skills or networks in that time. I never pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. I didn't see the risk silently taking every day by playing it safe. Here's the risk paradox. The safe path feels secure precisely because it's familiar. But familiarity creates blind spots. You stop looking around, you stop paying attention to market shifts, you stop noticing threats until it's too late. Think about Kodak. Once a global giant, they refused to invest in digital photography because film was safe, predictable, and profitable. They chose safety over innovation. Safety became their downfall. In 2008, millions believed real estate was the safest investment possible. The safe choice suddenly destroyed families' life savings when the housing bubble burst. The truth? If your stability depends entirely on one income stream, one client, one employer, or even one market, you're actually gambling everything on that single point of failure. How to escape the safety trap. 1. Build multiple income streams. Don't rely solely on your job or a single business product. Create side hustles, passive income, or multiple product lines. Diversify. 2. Conduct regular risk audits. Every quarter, ask yourself, where am I exposed? What's the worst thing that could realistically happen if things changed suddenly? 3. Always question your assumptions. Regularly ask, what if I'm wrong? What's the worst case scenario if the safe choice fails? 4. Pay attention to early warning signs. Are competitors making different moves? Are customers quietly shifting elsewhere? Don't ignore small signals. 2. You're already taking massive risks every day, you just don't realize it. Here's a truth you probably haven't considered. You're already taking massive risks every single day, you just don't realize it. Every decision, even the ones you think are safe, is a bet on your future. Think about your current job or business. Maybe you've convinced yourself it's the safe option because you know exactly what to expect. But by staying where you are, you're betting that your industry won't change, your skills won't become obsolete, and your employer won't make drastic changes. Think again. When I first started my coffee business, 90% of my revenue came from my wholesale accounts. I barely had an online presence. When COVID hit, cafes were forced to shut down and my revenue disappeared overnight. What seemed safe ended up being devastatingly risky. Maybe you're avoiding uncomfortable conversations with your spouse or business partner, thinking you're keeping things stable. You're trading a moment of discomfort now for potentially massive consequences later. The key insight: inaction is itself a risk. How to stop unknowingly gambling with your future. 1. Pre-mortem your decisions. Before any major decision, ask, if this fails, what would be the cause? Identifying potential failures up front helps you address them before they happen. 2. Diversify your exposure. Always have more than one plan, more than one revenue stream, and more than one connection. 3. Take controlled small risks regularly. If you regularly take small intentional risks, you build resilience and are less blinded when big disruptions come. You're already taking risks, whether you acknowledge them or not. Wouldn't you rather choose your risks consciously? 3. Risk is your greatest competitive advantage and success currency. Here's something most people never realize. Risk isn't something to avoid, it's your single biggest opportunity to get ahead and the currency that high performers use to buy success. Everyone else is playing it safe, avoiding uncertainty, or sticking to what's familiar. What does that mean for you? Massive opportunity. When your competitors shy away from risk, they leave the door wide open for you. Early in my business, everyone in the industry was doing things the same way, selling the same products, using the same marketing tactics. It was predictable, comfortable, and safe. And it was boring. Then I decided to do something different. I took a risk on bold branding, provocative messaging, and product ideas nobody else had the guts to try. Customers noticed, growth exploded. My risk-taking became my biggest competitive advantage. Think about Tesla. In an industry dominated by safe, incremental improvements, Elon Musk took massive risks, betting everything on electric cars when everyone else said it would never work. Now, Tesla is the most valuable car company on the planet. Here's the deeper truth. Top performers don't just tolerate risk, they actively seek it out. To them, risk isn't something scary. It's currency, like money or time. It's something they spend strategically to get exactly what they want in life. Think about Michael Jordan. He was heavily criticized for taking risky shots nobody else dared to attempt. But Jordan understood that without risk, there was no reward. He became the greatest basketball player of all time because he was just comfortable taking risks. He thrived on them. How to use risk as your competitive advantage. 1. Identify comfort zones in your industry. Look at where competitors are playing it safe. Those safe zones represent massive opportunities. 2. Embrace asymmetric risks. Look for opportunities with limited downsides but massive potential upsides. 3. Reframe risks as investments. Stop viewing risk as something negative. Ask, how can I strategically spend risk today to buy bigger opportunities tomorrow? 4. Build a risk muscle. Take small risks consistently to get comfortable with uncertainty. Risk isn't something to fear, it's something to leverage and master. Every risk your competitor avoids is an open door for you. Hey you, if you're just here to passively consume content, hit the like button out of habit, or subscribe just to never watch again, don't. This channel isn't for spectators, it's for people who actually are on the path, who want to take action, who are willing to push themselves and challenge what they know. Vanity metrics don't matter. Real growth does. So if this channel speaks to you, if you're ready to level up and actually apply what you learn, then stick around and please give this channel a follow. If not, no hard feelings, but this isn't the place for you. Alright, back to the video. 4. How risk transforms your identity and makes you anti-fragile. Here's something most people never talk about. Taking risks doesn't just change your outcomes, it changes who you are and makes you actively smarter and stronger. Every time you step into uncertainty, you're not just gambling on success or failure. You're actively reshaping your identity from I'm someone who plays it safe to I'm someone who takes action and makes things happen. When I started my first business, I saw myself as cautious and careful. Every risk felt huge, but each time I acted despite fear, my self-image changed. I became confident, decisive, and ultimately unstoppable. But here's the deeper magic. Risk doesn't just test you, it actively makes you smarter, stronger, and more capable. There's a powerful concept called anti-fragility, something that doesn't just survive stress, but actually gets better under it. When you consistently expose yourself to risk and uncertainty, your brain doesn't just break down, it actually rewires and upgrades itself. Each risk I took forced me to learn new skills, adapt quickly, and develop new ways of thinking. Over time, I realized every risk made me noticeably smarter. Science backs this up. Studies show that regularly facing uncertainty boosts cognitive flexibility, problem-solving skills, and emotional intelligence. How to use risk to transform your identity and intelligence. 1. Small wins, big identity shifts. Take manageable risks often. Each small win builds a track record, proving you're capable and brave. 2. Change your language. Instead of saying, I might fail, say, I can handle whatever happens. Language rewires your identity. 3. Practice rapid decision making. Force yourself into situations where you have to decide quickly. This sharpens judgment and trains your brain to handle stress. 4. Learn from setbacks. Each time a risk doesn't pan out perfectly, dissect exactly why. Your brain stores these lessons for smarter future decisions. 5. Celebrate taking action, not just results. Reward yourself for stepping into uncertainty regardless of the outcome. Every risk you take is a deliberate vote for the type of person you want to become. Start voting for courage, growth, and success. 5. Your legacy depends on the risks you take today. If you've been holding back on risk, thinking you're protecting your family, your team, or your future, you're making a serious mistake. Here's a powerful truth you probably don't want to hear. Not taking risks is actually one of the most selfish things you can do. Your family, employees, or anyone who depends on you deserves your absolute best, not your safest, most comfortable self. By avoiding risks, you're not protecting them. You're limiting your future and their future, their opportunities, and everyone's success. When I first started my business, I had young children. At first, I avoided risk because I thought I was protecting them. But then I realized something powerful. My kids weren't watching to see how I avoided failure. They were watching to see how courageously I pursued success. If I played small, I'd teach them to play small. But if I embraced uncertainty, chased big goals, and showed resilience in the face of challenges, I'd teach them how to build the life they really wanted. The same applies to your employees or anyone looking up to you. By avoiding risk, you're not giving them safety, you're teaching them fear and limitation. How to build a powerful legacy through risk. 1. Define a legacy vision. Ask yourself, what do I want people to say about me in 10, 20, 30 years from now? Then take the risks that align with that legacy. 2. Role model risk-taking. Every risk you take is a lesson for your children, employees, or followers. 3. Make it about something bigger. If you attach your risk to a mission greater than yourself, risk becomes a duty, not a burden. 4. Openly share your journey. Talk about the risks you're taking, the fear you're facing, and how you're overcoming them. Your legacy is shaped by the risks you're willing to take. Don't choose comfort over impact. You owe it to yourself and everyone who depends on you to embrace risk. 6. Exactly where and how to find the right risks. Most people who say they avoid risk aren't actually afraid. They just don't know where to find good risks. Here's exactly how you can spot powerful opportunities in your own life. Where to look for high-value risks. 1. Follow the fear, your internal compass. Where you feel fear, uncertainty, or discomfort, that's exactly where you need to look. Afraid of public speaking? There's opportunity in putting yourself on stage. Scared to start a new business idea? That's probably exactly where you need to be and what risk you should take. 2. Look for what others avoid. Pay attention to your competitors. Whatever risks they're running away from, new technology, unconventional ideas, unusual markets, that's your opportunity. For example, Airbnb succeeded by embracing the risks others ran from, strangers sleeping in your home. Netflix thrived by embracing streaming while competitors stuck to DVDs. That's risk-taking. 3. New risks and industries. Push yourself into new areas even when you're inexperienced. New industries represent huge potential because fewer people have the courage to explore them. Here are some actionable steps to identify and take risks. 1. Do a weekly fear audit. Write down one thing you're avoiding, then commit to taking one small action toward it immediately. 2. Network actively in new circles. Put yourself in environments filled with people who embrace risk. 3. Ask the powerful question, if I had no fear, what would I do right now? 4. Leverage the 10% rule. Always devote 10% of your time, money, or resources to exploring new, uncertain ventures. The opportunities are everywhere around you. You just have to know where to look. The final truth, you have 2 clear choices. We've covered the uncomfortable truths about the risks that most people avoid. But here's the important thing to remember. Risk isn't the enemy, comfort is. Every day you avoid risk, you're not staying still. You're quietly losing ground, sabotaging your potential, and letting opportunities slip by. You're choosing failure by default. You have 2 clear choices right now. 1. Keep avoiding risk, stay exactly where you are, and accept the consequences of comfort. 2. Start embracing risk intentionally, strategically, and courageously. Build the business, life, and legacy you deserve. The truth is simple. You're already taking risks every single day. Isn't it finally time you chose the right ones? The greatest risk isn't taking a risk, it's doing nothing at all. But first, a quote I want to leave you with. Life is inherently risky. There's only one big risk you should avoid at all costs, and that is the risk of doing nothing.